Hello, I'm Dr. Thomas Mitchell. I've lived for over 101 years, and if there's one thing I've learned in all this time, it's that life is unpredictable, filled with moments of joy, struggle, heartache, and triumph. But through it all, there's one thing that has always made the biggest difference for me: positive thinking. I know life isn't always easy. We all face challenges, some small, some monumental. I've been there. I've experienced moments where I didn't know how I was going to get through the day. The fear, the doubts, they were overwhelming. And at times I hit rock bottom, just like so many of us do. But I'm here today at 101 because of a simple shift in mindset that changed everything for me. It's not that life became perfect. Far from it. But when I chose to focus on what I could control, when I chose to embrace a positive mindset, everything started to change. Not overnight, not all at once, but little by little, I began to see life through a new lens. I began to notice the light, even in the darkest times. In this video, I want to share with you how this simple shift in thinking has helped me not just survive, but truly live, and how it can help you too. Because if you're struggling right now, I promise you there is always a way forward. It starts with your mindset. So let's talk about that mindset. Let me tell you how I went from feeling lost to finding peace, how I turned my life around, even when I thought there was no way out. When I was younger, I didn't always see the world through the lens I do now. There were times when I felt completely overwhelmed, and it seemed like the weight of my struggles was too much to bear. Fear and doubt would creep in, and I'd question whether I was even on the right path. I remember one particularly tough period in my life. I had just faced a major setback, and everything I thought I had worked for seemed to slip away. I was lost, unsure of what to do next, and the future felt like a long, dark tunnel. But here's what I realized: life has a way of testing us, and we can't always control the challenges we face. What we can control, however, is how we respond to them. It was in those moments of doubt and uncertainty that I discovered the most powerful tool we all have: our mindset. I could either stay stuck in negativity and fear, or I could choose to see my struggles as opportunities to learn, grow, and build resilience. At first, it wasn't easy. It felt strange to think positively when everything around me seemed to be falling apart. But slowly, I began to see that by shifting my focus, I could change my experience. Instead of thinking about how hard everything was, I started asking myself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow stronger? That simple question helped me break free from the grip of negativity and find a sense of peace in the middle of chaos. When I made the choice to embrace a positive mindset, it didn't come all at once. It took time. But one of the first things I started to do was practice gratitude. Every morning I would sit quietly for a few moments and simply reflect on the things I was grateful for. At first it felt small, just a simple acknowledgement of the little things: the warmth of the sun on my face, the love of my family, the fact that I was still here to experience another day. But over time, something amazing happened. By focusing on these small moments of gratitude, I began to shift my perspective. Instead of waking up feeling burdened by what I didn't have or what I was going through, I started each day with a sense of peace, a sense of enoughness. This shift didn't make everything perfect, but it did make life feel more manageable. I started to see that even in the midst of challenges, there was always something to be thankful for, something that reminded me of the beauty in life, no matter how difficult it seemed. Gratitude became a kind of anchor for me, a steady force that kept me grounded during the stormiest days. And as I practiced gratitude more, it became easier to find the silver lining in everything. Even when things didn't go as planned, I found myself asking, what's the lesson here? Instead of focusing on the hardship, I started focusing on how I could grow from it. That simple act of shifting my focus made all the difference, and I began to feel more fulfilled and more connected to the world around me. As I continued practicing gratitude and shifting my mindset, I realized something else. Life wasn't just about focusing on the good moments. It was also about how I handled the challenges and the setbacks. Life will inevitably throw curveballs our way, and it's easy to get bogged down by frustration and disappointment. But I started asking myself a new question. What can I learn from this? This simple shift in perspective made all the difference. Instead of seeing failure or adversity as something to fear or avoid, I started to see them as opportunities to grow. When something went wrong, I would pause, take a deep breath, and remind myself that this was a chance to learn. It wasn't about pretending that everything was fine, but about accepting the struggle and finding the lesson within it. One of the most powerful moments I had was during a time when I was facing what seemed like a major setback in my career. At first, it felt like everything was falling apart. I was angry and upset, but then I remembered my mindset shift. I decided to ask myself, what can I take from this? How can I use this experience to grow? And that's when everything started to change. I realized that this setback wasn't the end of the road. It was just another part of the journey. By reframing my negative thoughts and focusing on the lessons rather than the problems, I found myself feeling lighter. Instead of carrying the weight of failure with me, I was able to embrace each challenge as a stepping stone, a necessary part of my growth. Through all of these lessons, I've come to understand one more powerful truth. The people and environments you surround yourself with play a crucial role in shaping your mindset. When I was younger, I often heard the saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." But it wasn't until much later in life that I truly understood its meaning. There were times in my life when I was surrounded by negativity. Whether it was people who complained constantly or situations that drained my energy, I found myself adopting the same mindset. It was exhausting, and I realized that the more I stayed in that environment, the harder it became to stay positive. But as I grew older, I became more selective about where I spent my time and with whom. I intentionally chose to surround myself with people who inspired me, who lifted me up, and who had a positive outlook on life. It wasn't just about the people around me. It was also about the environment I created for myself. I began curating my surroundings to reflect the positivity I wanted to embrace. I filled my space with things that made me feel calm, happy, and motivated. Whether it was books, artwork, or simply a clean and organized environment, I understood that the spaces we inhabit have a profound impact on our mental and emotional state. Surrounding myself with positive influences made all the difference. It was easier to stay optimistic when the people around me were optimistic too. When I found myself in a tough spot, having a strong support system gave me the strength to keep going. It reminded me that I wasn't alone, and that together we could overcome anything. I've lived through it all, and I can tell you that the power of positive thinking, choosing to focus on solutions, on growth, and on gratitude, will pull you through even the toughest of times. Start today, shift your mindset, and you'll see how your life can change for the better, just like mine did. Thank you for watching. If my story resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to sharing more of my journey with you.